Tobacco users smell funny. Hello, I'm executive motivational speaker Anthony Giarrusso. And today, I want to talk about smokers, tobacco users, and how they've disappointed me. As you may already know, I'm an advocate for non-smokers because I'm a non-smoker myself. But before I get into the hazards of smoking and tobacco use, I want to get into what I'm very upset with.
Where I wanted to quit, in the back of my mind, I told myself I have to quit. And just that day when I reached for that cigarette, I'll never forget it, with my son looking at me. And it was like a bolt of lightning hit me, where I finally realized the big picture of what year after year and cigarette after cigarette had done. And I said, that's it. I'm done. I quit. Took him a whole pack, brand new pack. Took him, threw him out the window, and I don't litter. But that's it. I'm done. I quit. No, it's going to kill me. It's going to be cancer. But I don't have to make it sooner than it needs to be. He was shocked, and he says, I really hope you mean that, Mom.
My name is Brett, and I used to smoke. I quit, but not until I got a serious gum disease. My tip to you is, your smile says a lot about you. What does this say?
You can quit. For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
As you may already know, in our past, especially here in the United States of America, many smoking commercials were actually Democrat propaganda, which actually conformed people to be controlled when using a specific product, tobacco. They lured people in, and those people fell for the trap, and they became addicted to cigarettes, cigars, chewed tobacco, and now tobacco addiction has run rampant across the United States of America. People who use tobacco are not very nice. In fact, I'm in my 20s now, okay? And to be completely honest, I've never met a single person who was a user of tobacco who did not disappoint me in some sort of way. And it's just an unfortunate but very true reality for myself. I've never met a smoker who would be as friendly or as considerate as me or other non-smokers. And this is one of the reasons why I'm making this video. I'm very upset by that. Now, as I know, the majority of tobacco users that are heavily addicted to tobacco, whether if it's the that spray bottle, what do they call it? I forgot what they call it. A vaporizer. That. Because you can get tobacco oil, whether if they have the e-cigarettes or regular cigarettes, chewed tobacco. There's even like a tobacco gum that I've seen. A tobacco chewing gum. I've seen cigars. I think there was a few other tobacco products that I've seen. But here's the point, okay? Most of these tobacco users are Democrats, they're fascists, they're communists, and they're socialists. And you probably already know how I feel about that, right? Using tobacco as a negative behavior. You know, these groups of people statistically are negative. Not always, right? Not every Democrat, not every fascist, not every communist, and not every socialist is a bad person. It's just that I haven't met any of them yet. Okay, so this is from my personal experience with these people, okay, including Democrats. And I know this is a very harsh thing for you to hear, but I can't pick out one Democrat who has not disappointed me. I can't. Not a single one. Now, maybe in my future, because I'm still young, right? But I'm just telling you my experiences with these people that I just haven't met any. People that I can classify as truly good people. And that's pretty spot on from my experiences. Okay? But remember, I'm not saying that all these people are bad people. I just haven't met them yet. Okay? And I'm completely open to the possibility of good people that are Democrats, good people that are fascists, good people that are communists, and good people that are socialists. I just have not had those experiences with those particular people as of today, which is 5/2/2019. Okay, getting back to tobacco use, though. Because there are Republicans who use tobacco. There are collectivists who use tobacco. There are conservatives who use tobacco. And capitalists who use tobacco. And I just can't believe that this is what they're doing. Right? They have their right to use this stuff. But it kind of goes against your own views. It's like you're being a hypocrite. You know, when I go to Catholic church, Catholic Mass, there are people who, after church or before church, who smoke or do whatever with their tobacco. And just from a Christian point of view, not just the Catholic point of view, Jesus has taught us not to be addicted to anything. Okay? But you have to remember, 2,000 years ago, at the time of Jesus, to my knowledge, they didn't have the types of cigarettes and cigars and other tobacco products like we have today. And even about 300 years ago, when tobacco was a key starter to start the American economy here, you know, they didn't have all these extra additives that are mixed into the tobacco either.
Jaws! Look, Brain, I'm a fruit roly thingy. Brain? Brain! And just what have you been up to, you mouse who says there aren't any monkeys in his pants?
I just had to check on something.
You were smoking, weren't you?
No, I was just... Oh, for Ptolemy's sake. Yes, I was smoking. I've been smoking all evening. Are you happy now?
No, I'm not. Look at what you're doing to your chubby little pink lungs.
Okay, I'll quit smoking.
When?
Soon.
So keep that in mind, okay? Because I'm very aware of that. But today, there are so many people in the hundreds of thousands that get cancer not from smoking, but from either secondhand or third-hand smoke. And this is a huge problem.
はあ吸わないんだったらそのタバコ消してもらえませんか吸うわよいや今吸わないんだったらうるさいないつ吸おうが私の勝手でしょだいたい何そのマスク超気分悪いんですけどいや俺も好きでやってるわけでは
勝手だとお前らの勝手が善良な市民にとっては暴力でしかないことを考えたことはないのかいやあるわけがない
はあ何言ってんのこのガキンチョ吸って悪いなら灰皿なんか置かなきゃいいじゃない置いてあるからには吸うわよ
じゃあ吸え100歩いや1000万歩譲って吸うのは許してやるだが一切煙を出すな全部吸収しろ
はいはいはいはいお子ちゃまがギャーギャーギャーギャーはいはいはいはいわかりましたわかりましたよ
おのれこの減らず口女が
Smokers, especially, seem to be very, very careless. They don't care about their own health. They don't care about other people's health. And that's really, really disappointing to me, especially being an executive, because what do executives do? We lead by example and make things better or less worse than they already are, right? That's also why I'm a motivational speaker. When you are a smoker, you are an individual with a chemical ordinance, and you are a threat to yourself and others. So why would you do it? Why would you smoke? You know, let's talk about secondhand smoke and also being pro-life. You know, as you may already know, there are so many cancerous carcinogens in tobacco smoke and cigar smoke, right? You can smell it. It smells awfully disgusting. It's very unhealthy. And being pro-life is not to destroy, right? If I were the devil, I would have every single person on this planet be addicted to tobacco smoke and have them suffer through a soft kill experience. But I'm not the devil. I'm pro-life. So why would you be smoking as a Christian? That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I'm not saying that you have to quit smoking today. I would like you to, but it's your right to continue smoking, continue harming your own health and harming other people's health, right? If you want to be that person who harms other people and yourself, right, you are allowed to do so. I just recommend that you don't. I was being driven by my father. We were coming home from a car show. And there was this lady in a minivan with an infant. And she was smoking in the car with the infant in the seat behind her, with the windows closed. Let me ask you something. do you really think that person cares about their child? Maybe they do to some extent. But I can guarantee you that person doesn't care enough about the child, at least for health-related reasons that could definitely harm that child, especially at being at such a young age. Pretty much any person literally under 3 years old is at high risk from secondhand smoke and developing lung problems as they are growing up from all that tobacco smoke from when they were really young. And when they get older, especially into their 30s, 40s, and 50s, a lot of that stuff that they were breathing in as a very young child is now affecting them, and that's why they end up dying early. Or at least that's one of the reasons. And then there's people who smoke in their houses, and then those children usually have many health complications that came from the cigarette smoke or the cigar smoke through that secondhand experience. And it's really frustrating that there's so many parents out there, so many of them, right? They smoke. You know, some at least take a little bit of responsibility and smoke out of the house, but even if they smoke out of the house and they come back in, some of that air can come back in when they open the door. Or that cigarette smoke can still come out of their mouth up to about an hour later after they've already smoked. And I've talked to plenty of people who have smoked, and then you can just smell it right off their mouth. It's really disgusting. Even if they throw in a piece of gum, you still smell that tobacco scent. And you can get secondhand smoke that way as well. Now, third-hand smoke is when it gets into your clothes. Okay? And there's actually quite a few ways that you can get third-hand smoke health complications. And you can actually breathe in the vapors that are on your clothes, and that can make you become very ill, especially if you are elderly or very young. When you're older, you have a better immune system and it usually doesn't affect you as much. That's why you don't see a whole bunch of 20-year-olds dying from, you know, smoking, right? The highest risk is for the elderly and very young people. But keep in mind that all this smoke and all these chemicals are going to affect me and other people in our older years. And because you have smoked, it is your fault, and you have to take responsibility for your actions. Here's the big difference between alcohol abuse and tobacco abuse. Okay? If you drink a lot of alcohol, you're not passing off alcohol vapors that are going to kill the person sitting next to you or anybody else later. Whereas with tobacco, you are, especially when you burn it. Now, third-hand smoke, and sometimes you can actually get second-hand smoke from people who chew too, because their mouth just smells really gross, right? And you sometimes see like the little leaves in between their teeth, you know? Not only does that look extremely unprofessional, it could also cause secondhand tobacco, and it's like the best way I can explain it, because it's not being burnt, it's not in a smoke form, we're still getting the breath of that individual, and you can actually obtain, I guess we should call it secondhand tobacco breath, and that can cause harm to other people. Just not as much. It's not as effective as the smoke, because the smoke's already warm and hot, and that gets in your nasal passages or in your mouth, so it absorbs faster into your bloodstream or into any other part of your body, fat, tissue, whatever. And that's why smoking is the most dangerous out of the tobacco.
今すぐタバコを捨て禁煙を誓うならば、これまでの罪を許し、第3級に修道川市民としてかろうじて生きていくだけの権利を与えてやる。あくまでも抵抗するというのなら容赦はしない。
叫んな！俺たちは誰よりも税金払ってんだ。タバコ税ばっかりあげやがって。いじめか？差別か？タバコは紳士のたしなみだろうが、つねこべ言われる筋合いはねえ。
紳士だと？ふざけるな！なぜアーケード商店街に煙が漂う？なぜ会社の入り口に喫煙所がある？なぜ我々が息を止めて歩かねばならんのだ？貴様らのいる限り人類に平和はない。そう、これは決して個人的な恨みつらみなどではないのだ。世界の未来に立ちふさがる獣どもよ。
How do you expect us to approve something like that?
Where are those missing documents from the addiction studies? You'd better have some answers, mister.
All the answers you need are in those envelopes right there in front of you.
Good answers. Good answers.
Good answers.
But it's really obnoxious. You know, I'm really frustrated by people who I associate with that are Catholics at my church that claim to be pro-life and pro-anti-addiction, yet they're smoking and they're addicted, and now they're a part of this problem of soft kill, which is anti, being able to have life. It's very frustrating that there are individuals like that. Let's talk about smoking from a professional point of view, right? Doesn't it look very professional if you're out trying to sell cars, smoking or vaping tobacco? To me, it doesn't look very good. It looks very unprofessional. So, why do you smoke out on the car lot? Why do you vape in front of other customers? It just doesn't make any sense. Let's say you were an executive. Okay. You're looking at one. Who's going to look more professional? The non-smoker like myself, or the person who is smoking maybe 3 or 4 cigarettes over the course of an hour? Who's going to be more professional? Who's also going to be more proficient, right? If I'm not taking smoke breaks, like a smoker does, then that means that I can be more effective at my job, doesn't it? Interesting. Now let's talk about super wealthy, successful people. I was doing a lot of research, and I found out that the wealthiest people on this planet don't smoke, don't use any tobacco, they don't do any drugs, they don't do any of that kind of stuff. But they present themselves either smoking or using drugs or whatever, and that includes pharmaceutical stuff, okay, as cool and trendy because they make extra money from doing commercials. A lot of celebrities, I found out, they actually just do it for the commercial and they don't actually smoke or use tobacco or vape or anything like that in real life. They just did it for the commercial so they could earn more money. Okay. So now you know that if you have a favorite celebrity and you see them smoking on TV, you know, they may be just doing that for publicity. They may not actually be actual smokers outside of the television realm or the commercial realm. And that may be something you may want to research. It's also very interesting from my research is that one of the big factors, the big difference between millionaires and billionaires is that billionaires, statistically, do not smoke. But millionaires do. I just thought that was kind of interesting, you know? They own businesses. They manage businesses exactly the same. They do the exact same kind of deals. But it's interesting that the majority of billionaires don't smoke. Let's talk about people who may be struggling, that aren't super wealthy, who don't have the connections, who don't have the money to start a business or buy out businesses. Even people who have 5 or 6 figure incomes, the people who have the highest wages or salaries or make the most amount of money, like in sales or commissions, are typically people who don't smoke. And the most successful in whatever field it is, right? Sometimes some of the more lower paying fields, like the top position may pay $30,000, but then the majority of the people might make $20,000, and those are all smokers, or the majority of them are smokers. And the people who are the most successful in those fields make the most amount of money. Look at doctors, right? Some doctors make $200,000 a year. And some doctors who don't use tobacco at all make $450,000 a year. But they're still doing the same exact craft. So why is that? Well, when you don't do negative things, then negative things don't impact you. So when you're trying to make a lot of money, maybe you already make a lot of money, but you could have had a lot of more money if you didn't do all these negative things, you know? And there's plenty of negative things out there, but this video is specifically for tobacco. This was non-smoking executive motivational speaker Anthony Giarrusso, and don't forget to check out my paranormal videos and go to www.lulu.com to find my books there. Now, I am in the process of making a motivational book. It is not for sale yet. I'm still writing it. But you can go and find my observations and reports written in the book, Wonders of Anthony Giarrusso, of the paranormal, the ghosts that I've seen, the EVPs that I've recorded, the UFOs I've experienced, and much more. So that will be www.lulu.com. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant day.